know that these people, to help understand their perspective and for you to be able to work with them, kind of get an idea of what it's like to walk in their shoes and understand their perspective. These national facility managers are managing, it might be 100 locations, it might be 3,200 locations. At Gap we had 3,200 between Gap, Banana, and Old Navy. That they're not just doing snow and ice or landscaping, they're typically managing almost every trade. That's a clogged toilet, that's a broken air conditioner, that's even a cabinet door that falls off a cabinet behind the cash wrap. So realize that often they're processing sometimes thousands of work orders and thousands of requests and items a month. It's kind of a perspective to help you understand where they're coming from. With that in mind, snow is usually not a high urgency, not a high ticket item for them, except of course if it's snowing and it's in the middle of the season. They manage a lot by urgency. What's on the plate, what's happening right now, what needs my attention. So if you're trying to get an audience with them, you're trying to talk to them, engage them in a dialogue in the middle of the summer, understand it might be kind of difficult. It's not a high priority for them at the moment unless management is driving some issues, and just trying to keeping things in perspective. In terms of a field presence for a lot of the national managers, most of the folks at corporate headquarters don't have a lot of travel budget. And over the years, most of these travel budgets have been reduced down. It's always very valuable to go out in the field, visit the stores, visit your contractors, see what's happening, do inspections. But often in the corporate national companies, the facility managers aren't going to have the time or aren't going to have the budget to go out and be in the field and meet with you and understand what's going on. Regional people, it's a little different. Obviously, they're closer, and it's usually more built into their job description that they're going to be out there in the field, they're going to be visiting the stores. There's a better chance that you're going to run into them actually in the locations. Something to understand also about how a facility manager's performance is measured. One of the major things that they're going to be measured in their job performance, how they're graded, whether or not they're going to have a job after their review, is financial. They're judged by how low a spend that they can get. But in addition to that, they're judged against their forecasting and the predictability of their spend. So they've got a budget, they probably track it monthly, they have reporting meetings that they're usually involved in on a monthly or quarterly basis. And understand that if they've got $100,000 budgeted for the month and they bid and they end up only running $80,000, that's great, but from a financial point of view, it's not as good as hitting closer to the $100,000. Obviously the $120,000, that's worst case, both sides of the coin. So predictability of that finance is an important aspect for them as well. Often depending on the contract, if you guys have a contract that's per push, if it snows a lot, that's not going to be predictable. Anything that you can do to help them understand and manage the financial performance of their contracts and what's going on is going to be a benefit. Sometimes they'll come from other backgrounds. More often than not, the facility managers at corporate headquarters might have some general contracting background. They might have some of the more technical trades, air conditioning background, maybe electrical. But more often than not, you're going to find somebody that has absolutely no background, a purchasing background, or a generalist kind of operational background. So again, as you work with these folks, understand that there's a part of educating them and working with them, making them remember that they are the most important people that they think they are, because we all think that way at times, and helping them understand that. They're going to look to you to be the experts. They're going to look to you to know what to do, what chemicals to use, how to execute the services, what are the best ways to go about it. So make sure that you're providing that information for them. Departments are generally staffed very differently, and how you interact with the facility managers is going to be driven on how those departments are staffed. Large companies like Gap will have many people on staff. They'll be broken out. They'll have a specific HVAC person. He's got the training, he's got the background, that's all he's responsible. They may have somebody that's involved in lighting. You've got a broad base of people in the department with very specific responsibilities. It's divided up. The opposite end of the spectrum is the facility department that has 2 people in it, and they're caring for 500 or 1,000 locations. They're going to be the generalists. They're generally not going to have the knowledge base. They're going to be running around like most facility managers, like a chicken with their head cut off. They've got all this work to do. 8 people are calling today with 8 different emergencies, and it's a difficult thing to manage in what they're going through.